Welcome to this Aquarius New Moon tarot and astrology reading. My name is Kelly Mountain. I'm with Goddess Modern, and I do a new moon and full moon tarot reading every month. It's just a framework that I really enjoy using for learning more about human psychology and developing oneself, both mentally and spiritually, and also using it as a framework of how to understand, in a sense, like the energetic current moving through our lives and how to best position ourselves to consciously work with the energy so that we can be creating more optimal outcomes in conscious ways, through mindfulness of thought patterns and feeling and words and action, appropriate use of these creative forces that we have within us. So I find tarot and astrology to offer really helpful frameworks in how to do that and how to best navigate the journey of life. So the way that I work with this stuff, in general, in the way that I understand it, tarot and astrology is not concretely predictive, it's archetypally predictive. So rather than focusing on really specific details and trying to, see if like the specific details really fit into like who you are and what's going on in your life right now, see if you can kind of shift the focus to be more on like patterns of perception or patterns of emotion or behaviors or patterns of experiences. We're wanting to use the patterns as a way to reflect on ourselves and to, again, see, where can I grow? Where can I learn? Where can I even potentially heal and awaken and transform parts of myself in order for me to be the best version of myself? So through like, being able to have the wherewithal to be mindful of patterns and then start, similar to like how tarot and astrology works a lot with like archetypal symbolism, we can apply archetypal symbolism and metaphor into our life experience to understand more through learning kind of the language of life through symbolism and metaphor, understand more about how to be ultimately more empowered, conscious creators of our own lives. And so I invite you to tune into yourself, tune into your intuition. We are working with moon cycles in these readings, and the moon is all about feelings and intuition and our connection to our feminine energy. So tune in to your own intuition, tune into the way that you feel in your body with this reading, with the messages that come through. A lot of times, it's not really needed to fully understand every single message that comes through. A lot of times the way this stuff works is it just simply plants a seed of perception inside, and we can choose whether we're curious enough to water that seed of perception with our attention every day, and especially with like meditative and reflective practices, so that we can give that seed within us a space, to grow and to plant roots and to become a fully defined life form within us. So sometimes the way this stuff works is, like, I know for myself, sometimes a message might come my way that I'm like, I'm not really sure how that like fits into my life. I'm not, I don't know. I don't see where that lands right now. And then like 3 days later, I'm like, oh, and there's that card. There it is. It just dropped, So, yeah, let's see. So I already lit a candle. I cleansed my space and did a smudge over myself. I cleansed all the cards. I said a prayer of intention for you, the collective of humanity that this reading is for. I've shuffled and pulled from several decks already. And let's see, so before I get started on the tarot, what I want to do is just talk a little bit about the astrology first. And so this new moon in Aquarius, it's the first new moon in Aquarius since Pluto entered Aquarius, where it will be for the next 20 years. So it's the first new moon in Aquarius after Pluto had just entered it. And so none of us alive on the planet at this time has lived through this transit, because the last time this transit happened was 250 years ago. And while Pluto is in Aquarius for the next 20 years, we're going to be hearing, we're basically in a time of humanity of radical, experimental transition, transformation, change. It's all through the archetype of Aquarius, which is like power to the people, which is all about the collective and humanity, and it's about uniqueness and authenticity and divinely inspired creative insights, and it's really the energy of Aquarius. It's the part of ourselves and the processes we come up against in life that really tries to get us into alignment with who we're here to be and what we're here to do. And so when we're on that path in a way that's aligned, we're going to experience like the high sides of the Aquarian energy, which is like synchronicity and, just like blink of an eye and, oh my gosh, like this person just gave me a life-changing offer of an experience, or I just, met this person and wow, like this whole pathway just opened up that I had no idea was even going to be available. I mean, these are like the Aquarian kinds of things that happen when we're in alignment with that energy of like our true authentic self and expression and our purpose, who we're here to be and what we're here to do. And so when we're not in alignment with that energy, the way this will come up is typically pretty dramatic, surprise, shocking, unexpected, kind of like tower crumbling moment where, flip of a switch and your foundation just bottoms out, and, flip of a switch, this person who you thought you were doing this whole journey with, you thought you were on this whole path together, they decided like, actually, no, I'm not on that path with you. And in fact, I need to like leave your life altogether. Like these are the things that come up when we're not fully in alignment with that energy. And so, we have this kind of tendency, we humans, we have this tendency to kind of really, like, in my opinion, over personalize our life experience a little bit too much, and especially like our experiences with other people. I think we will get farther when we kind of can like observe an energy moving through without attaching like story and meaning and like too much into it, because when we do that, we tend to make things like really too personal, whether it be like too personal against other people or even too personal against oneself, even just to like say something along the lines of, oh, I'm not in alignment with my highest form of purpose and truth. A lot of people can take something like that and then attach these meanings around like, oh, so that means like I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm unworthy, I'm, like, where it's like I'm guilty and I'm ashamed and I'm, where it's just like we have this tendency as humans, and what I think we're kind of in a big collective process of growing out of, like trying to progress through anyways, is like we're gonna get farther if we can just bring so much more compassion and acceptance and unconditional love for ourselves and for each other. And so coming back to the astrology, so yeah, it's the first. So a new moon is the sun and the moon are conjunct. It's very closely conjunct to Pluto, and right after that we're gonna have Mercury moving into Aquarius. That's gonna conjunct, so it's gonna create a stellium, like a lineup of Pluto, Mercury, the sun, and the moon, all in a little nice cluster in Aquarius. We've got on the next day, January 30th, we've got Uranus, who's the modern ruler of Aquarius, going direct. And so there's just a lot around the Aquarian energy right now. And so, and we've got like Pluto, the energy of Pluto is like big power and transformation and regeneration. And, you know, all of these archetypes, they have a high side and a low side. The high side of the archetype of Pluto is big power, big wealth, big influence, and in the service of regeneration and transformation and healing and soul alignment and purpose. But the lower side archetype of Pluto is dominance, power, control, exploitation, and it's a big energy, so it tends to involve like a lot of people, or systems. So, you know, right now, all of us alive on this planet, whether we're conscious of it or not, we're all part of rewriting this collective human story. And we're on a big journey with that because, you know, we also, you know, I'm thinking about like the process of writing a story, right? You've got like the beginning and the middle and the end, and you know, you've got like kind of this, the arc of the story going through it. But we, humanity, we don't know what our beginning is. You know, that's like kind of like one of the age-old questions, right? Like, who are we? Where did we come from? What are we doing here? What are we supposed to do here? You know, I mean, these are like all these big questions that religions over time have, you know, tried to be sources of answers for. And so it's interesting because we're collectively rewriting this story right now, and at the same time, we don't know where the story begins. We just have a beginning, you know, that dates back about like, you know, in recorded human history, something like, you know, 12,000 years ago. Although, you know, artifacts and, you know, history actually shows that humans have been around for a lot longer. So who knows what's really at the beginning of the story. And nonetheless, we're all in a story now and we're rewriting it. So it's kind of like, how do we want it to look? How do we want the story of the people to look? You know, the story of humanity. One sec. Okay. So I'm going to get into the tarot reading now. So I am going to start with this Spirit Cats deck and the card that I drew for the collective for the Aquarius New Moon. It's called Magic Maker. Meet Lynx. She is a sorceress, a shaman, and a witch cat. She is the part of you that creates a magical brew of intention and action that results in manifestations beyond your wildest dreams. She can usher in deep healing and revolutionary transformations. Turn inward, connect to the powerful current of your life force, and conduct that energy into creations for the good of all. You have everything you need within you. Don't hold back. The world needs your magic. Claim your place at the table of dreamers and magic makers. Lynx will meet you there. Well, I think this is a really perfect message for the new moon because it's really, you know, the new moon, it's the dark moon. It's the phase of the moon where we can't see the light. So symbolically, this is a time of the month where we really go inward. We turn our gaze inward, you know, become still and silent and go reflect inward, open, and be willing to like explore the parts of you that are deep and healing and revolutionary and in service of transformation. And you know, it's talking about use the powerful current of your life force to conduct your energy and creations of the good of all. So it kind of reminds me of like that Plutonian theme around like, you know, the high side benefits of the energy of Pluto. You know, when we align our choices, when we align our will to the benefit of all, you know, then that's where we are going to tap into a greater source of power, because that quality of power it's beyond just our own limiting self-serving power. It's tapping into spirit-led power, and spirit-led power is going to be thoughts, feelings, words, and actions whose property, in a sense, a medicinal property it is to unite, to connect. Because life is connection. And basically all of the stuff that we humans do to ourselves and to each other that create disconnection, those are not in service of life. And it's not in service of truth. Ultimate truth, supreme truth, unifies. It's in service to life. It unifies. So it's really important at this time, especially as, you know, because we're going to have Mercury moving in right after the new moon becomes exact. Mercury then comes in, and Mercury is a part of ourselves that rules thought, intellect, perception, communication of all kinds. And it's through this part of ourselves that we really choose consciously, hopefully consciously, but sometimes unconsciously. But this is really like what's happening right now, in my opinion, is really a call for more mindfulness, more conscious use of the creative powers of thought, feelings, words, and actions. These are like creative forces that we're wielding all the time, every time we use them. And so the more we are mindful of these creative forces and the more that we can consciously work with them, and you know, that's going to be what gets us on track with connection and being in service to life. Yeah, this magic maker, in the tarot, it's reminding me, the message is reminding me also of like the magician, that message that says you have everything you need inside of you to create exactly what you want. And that all you need to do is trust and go within and connect to the powerful current of your life force and conduct all energy into the creations of good. Okay, moving on. In the next spread here from the Antique Anatomy Tarot, I've got the Page of Wands reverse, and I've got the Hierophant. So Page of Wands reverse and the Hierophant. So and then at the bottom of the deck I got the King of Cups reverse. So Page reverse and Hierophant, this to me, so the Hierophant is an energy of like the established order, established kind of traditions and institutions. It's established authority that people look to for guidance as well. And, you know, I mean, we in general in the world are in a big journey with this part of life, with the established order. We are at a point in the collective journey where we're really, you know, taking a good look and assessment at the established order and really, you know, getting clear of like what's really not working anymore. And I think that, again, kind of like how I spoke to you a moment ago, that we're all here rewriting this collective story. It's about being in a process of kind of collective assessment of that established order, that structure, the system, the tradition, of the people in these positions of authority that are, you know, like running the structures and the systems, you know. And I think that this Page of Wands, Page of Swords, excuse me, in reverse is saying, and because Mercury is about to come into conjunction with Pluto and the Moon and the Sun, the message here to me is, for the collective, is be mindful with your words, with your perception, with your thought patterns. Be mindful with how you speak. There could be a tendency to lean into patterns of communication and thought that are maybe on a less mature, less refined side. And, you know, I mean, we all have these parts of ourselves, and typically these parts of ourselves are like, they're kind of like lifelong works of progress. Like, we're never going to be fully done with these parts of ourselves. So, you know, like, it's good to get a reflection of the Page of Swords in reverse, to stop and think to oneself, are there more mature, responsible ways that I can be communicating? This is definitely, like, you know, the Page of Swords reverse, I would say really be mindful of gossip. Be mindful of, you know, people around you that are gossiping. Definitely be mindful if you're the one with a tendency to gossip. And actually, on the bottom of the deck, I got the King of Cups in reverse. So King of Cups reverse is it's either yourself or someone in your life, or it's just kind of an energetic in the collective of, it's either like a significant unconsciousness around emotional maturity and intelligence, or it's having a high emotional maturity and intelligence and using it to manipulate, using it to, you know, coerce and, you know, maybe even deceive people through their emotions. And actually what's coming up right now regarding the collective for me with this King of Cups reverse, it's really important as a collective that we are aware of how our consumption of content is, you know, kind of making us lean into this Page of Swords reverse energy. Because there's definitely a way that media and government use content to manipulate through mastery. I think that they do have kind of a mastery of how to emotionally manipulate people, and especially people in masses. And so, but if this is you, this is a, you know, if the King of Cups reverse represents an energy in you right now, or someone you know, if this is, you know, and again, like some of these, it's important to allow like the descriptions of all these things. Like, these are just words that are like defining energy and, you know, aspects of our human experience. They don't have to be so kind of weighty with like judgment and blame and shame and guilt. You know, the archetypes of tarot and astrology, we all have all of them inside of us. So, you know, we've all been this King of Cups reverse figure at one point or another, and we will again. Like, we have to cycle through these energies in order to learn and grow. So just so you know, like, take in these words and descriptions not as such like heavily kind of judgmental burdens, but just like just reflections of energy, you know. And again, we're just wanting to be in right relationship, right alignment with our highest form of creative expression and who we're here to be and what we're here to do, right? So yeah, just be mindful. If the King of Cups reverse is somebody else in your life that you're having an experience with, then it might be a good idea to, you know, seek the counsel of someone you trust. And it might be good to kind of just create some space and, you know, maybe like this Page of Swords in reverse to me is just saying like, it's probably a good idea to just kind of hold your tongue and, you know, seek counsel from someone you trust, kind of get your thoughts straight before you address a situation, or to even see how to address a situation. All right, moving on in the deck, I've got I've got so many decks here. Moving on, next spread. I've got this is from the Tarot of Transcendence, and I've got the Eight of Pentacles reverse and the Six of Swords reverse at the bottom of the deck. So Eight of Pentacles reverse, this is telling me that for some reason there's a block in your path of mastery. There's a block in your path of like really putting in the time and the effort to master your craft, to you know, really focus and kind of quiet all distractions so that you can focus on your craft. Because the Eight of Pentacles upright is a energy of mastery, personal mastery, and that next is the Nine of Pentacles, which is like basically the material success that you create from your Eight of Pentacles, your mastery of your craft. So this in reverse is saying that this indicates to me that there is a block in some way, and because at the bottom of the deck was a Six of Swords reverse, to me, this is saying some form of healing that you need to go through. It's important to take care of that, because whatever this kind of old process or this old hurt, whatever this is, it's creating a block in your path of mastery. So I'm going to keep going in the spreads here. And we'll see how all this ties together in a little bit. All right, next I got this is by the Gentle Tarot deck. I got the Six of Cups, and I've got the Five of Cups reverse. Under the deck, I got the Seed of Wands in reverse. Six of Cups and Five of Cups in reverse. This to me speaks of if this is in relation just to you, then this would say to me, there's something from childhood, something from the past, something nostalgic, something that really had a lot of significance around it. And the Five of Cups reverse is saying, whatever this situation may be connected to some kind of past emotional hurt or despair or loss, and then it's actually time to let go of that. It's interesting. This card of the Six of Cups, I see like this river and these two women, and there's this rainbow, and I'm just seeing this as kind of like a rainbow bridge, you know. And Six of Cups, this is like, yeah, that part of us that's nostalgic or connects from something significant from childhood. And they're actually kind of like mere reflections of each other. So the symbology of this card to me is basically like, how can your past self and your present self create a rainbow bridge of connection, one that brings kind of the healing light of the rainbow, one that brings like the healing renewal of the waters. And these energies really speak to kind of like the energies of like healing and forgiveness and compassion and unconditional love. And whatever this Five of Cups in reverse is attached to this situation, and if this is something that you're going through with a person, somebody nostalgic, like an actual like kind of person from the past that you have a lot of significance with, nostalgic connection with, it could be like a soulmate connection, that it's okay to let it go. This is like an ending. This is like Five of Cups reverse is like sad. Five of Cups is like a really sad ending and like emotional despair, and I think that this in reverse is saying you're ready to let that go. You're ready to let that go and move on. And in fact, the Seat of Wands in reverse under the deck is telling me you're ready to let go and move on, but you really do, like, you're moving on, this new beginning of this Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands, so like a new beginning in like an area of your life that has to do with like action and passion and creativity and purpose and drive and like success. It's like it's upside down, and I think it really depends on the letting go of this Five of Cups reverse situation in relation to whatever this experience of the past, nostalgic experience of the past, or kind of like a nostalgic soulmate kind of a relationship. And then under the deck, I've got the Hanging Woman in reverse, and this is saying to me, you've been in the like still slow, kind of silent, inward, reflective process of trying to look at things from different angles and, you know, gain wisdom from looking at things from new perspectives. This in reverse is saying you've been there long enough. It's time to come out of that. It's time to create some movement, to bring the clarity and the insight, the enlightenment. It's time to put it into action. And I think that action is really the choice to let go of this Five of Cups reverse energy. And let's see, I'm gonna move next to the last spread I have here. I've got the High Priestess, Strength reverse, and again, the Five of Cups reverse. So as you see in the traditional tarot, you've got this figure that's hunched over in this black cape, very sad, looking down at these three empty cups that are knocked over, and just really focused on the loss. The cups in the tarot represent the emotions, the water element. There's just like this loss here, this sadness, and there's these two cups that are still remaining standing behind the character. But because the character is so focused on what didn't work out, it doesn't realize that behind him is these Two of Cups, and the Two of Cups in tarot is like a soulmate, lover type of relationship, type of connection. So, you know, we have to let go of the things that didn't work out and the things that disappoint us, and we have to move forward in order to realize that, oh wow, I actually still have within my reach this opportunity for emotional fulfillment in the way that I want. So again, it's coming out reverse, saying to me, it is time to really let go of that energy, whatever that is. You know, we're taught, this is a new moon reading, right? A new moon in Aquarius reading. So we're talking about a new beginning, planting new seeds in this part of ourselves. And, you know, that getting two Five of Cups reverse, and with this new moon being conjunct Pluto, utilize, consciously work with the archetypes of Pluto, of healing and alchemy of the soul, transformation, taking the old, outdated patterns and versions of ourselves and ways of being and composting them, going through doing deep psychological healing work and transformational work to let go and free that energy up and alchemize that energy into being creative fuel for, again, who we're here to be and what we're here to do. So we've got the High Priestess and the Strength in reverse. So High Priestess energy, that's like our feminine energy, our intuition. It's where we source our insights from within. It's the quiet, dark, still space inside that has all the answers that we need if we are willing to be still and silent and go within. And if we are willing to open ourselves to see the answers or to receive the guidance from our highest self, from our intuition. And, you know, we have a lot happening. Pisces, the sign Pisces rules the high priestess. And right now we have a lot going on in Pisces. And actually from the new moon on Wednesday, January 29th, we have at that point, like, I think it's like only a few days later in the week, we have Venus conjunct Neptune, conjunct the North Node in Pisces. It's such a beautiful energy. It's such a beautiful energy of healing and compassion and kindness and unconditional love and forgiveness. And so, you know, these energies are really up for us right now, and they are really such a like a healing balm to any of the parts of ourselves that really are struggling to let go. And I'll say, typically one reason why we struggle to let go is because we haven't yet really fully done the work on forgiveness that we need to in order to free ourselves. And yes, it's forgiveness for whoever's involved and whatever the situation was, but so yes, for sure. And it has to be also including forgiveness to oneself. Forgiveness to oneself for one's own full and complete responsibility and accountability for all that they contributed into, you know, creating whatever less than optimal situation had arrived, you know. And it's not about blaming ourselves and judging and guilting and shaming ourselves, but it is about stepping into our power, Pluto, and really owning, like fully owning all of the energy that we put into the outcomes that we create in our lives. Even if the energy we put into it came from an unconscious place within ourselves, you know? I mean, this is just the path of learning and growing. We're all in it. None of us is better than it. None of us is beyond it. And so we can really utilize the energy of this Plutonian new moon for this like a really deep dive into the psychological subconscious within, into the shadow within, and utilizing this Venus Neptune North Node conjunction in Pisces to do this, to like tap into just this beautiful energy of creativity and intuition and forgiveness and unconditional love and healing and you know, and right relationship to spirit serving power, you know, over self-serving power. And the topic of power with Pluto and Aquarius for the next 20 years, this is like the main theme. We are all gonna get schooled for the next 20 years on the topic of right relationship to power, specifically power to the people. This is gonna be a big journey that we're all on it right now. We are at the beginning. We're basically right now, all of us, I'm getting this image right now, like we're all going from the line, standing in line, we're getting into the roller coaster and we're all like putting the harness down, you know, and like the ride is like just taking off. And yeah, we're all gonna be initiated really powerfully into right relationship to power. We've got strength in reverse. To me, in relationship to this reading and what's come out, this card is speaking to a need for greater humility. That actually humility is a strength. It's actually one of the greatest strengths, because to be truly humble requires a quality of inner reflection and a willingness to see the parts of ourselves that aren't perfect, see the parts of ourselves that even maybe reflect the very thing that we judge other people for. it's, you know, humility requires us to admit that we don't know everything there is to know about every single thing. And, you know, so that's really like, um, like that's the strength that I feel is being really invoked with the strength reverse right now. In order to like get the strength into the upright position, I feel like the path of humility is the key for all of us to use as a compass point in our internal guidance system. So yeah, that concludes this astrology and tarot reading for the upcoming Aquarius New Moon. I want to say on one more piece with the astrology stuff. If you know your rising sign, then you know what part of your chart this new moon is taking place in. And if you know your rising sign, then you know where the rulers of Aquarius, we've got the ancient ruler, which is Saturn in Pisces right now in the transiting chart. And we've got Uranus, who's the modern ruler of Aquarius in Taurus. And so Uranus is going to go direct the day after this new moon in Taurus. So, you know, one just kind of extra layer for those of you that like to, you know, geek out on the the guidance from the astrology framework. And if you know your rising sign, one way to work consciously with this energy is know where Saturn and Pisces is and know where Uranus and Taurus is. And in a sense, if you know the themes of Taurus and Pisces, and if you know the themes of Uranus and Saturn, make choices, make conscious choices in a sense to put these energies to good work for you in those parts of your life, in the Taurus and the Pisces ruled parts of your life. And that it will be a positive feedback loop into the energy of this new moon that will be empowering the Aquarius part of your life. One sec. So, yeah, just if, you know, if you're deep enough into astrology and you know what all that means, I would say, yeah, that's a good reflective insight. And I'll just kind of expand it just a little bit, and then I'll wrap up here, which is, so, you know, Uranus, we've got the energy of, you know, fly your freak flag, you know, creative, divinely inspired, creative, authentic expression and insight and ingenuity and innovativeness. And, you know, who are you here to be in a way that's really unique to you, and how to apply those to the Taurian energy of your life, having to do with, you know, Taurus is all about like what we value and just like material beauty and comforts and leisure and money and personal value. And then we've got, you know, Saturn, who's the ancient ruler of Aquarius over in Pisces right now. And Saturn's all about like, you know, where Uranus, that energy is more like the moment of like divine insight, and Saturn's the one that takes that insight and builds a whole plan of action around it, and then diligently, devotedly, committedly, with discipline every day, like follows the step-by-step action plan needed in order to bring that divine insight into manifested existence, right? So Saturn, it's one of the lords of karma and time, and it delivers. It oftentimes it will. It's a archetype of mastery that makes you work for it. Blood, sweat, and tears. It's the thing that just, it's like, it's what you're grinding on every single day to create this dream of like your ultimate, like who you want to be and what you want to be doing and your contribution to society. You know, Saturn in Pisces right now is, you know, the one saying, make the plan, be disciplined, stick to the plan. Saturn's an energy of, less is more. Less is more. And but it's over in Pisces, which is saying source your power from the feminine stillness, and practices and activities that allow you to internally reflect and seek and sense and intuit. And if you can, use creativity as a vehicle to explore and experiment and express that divine, feminine, intuitive guidance and insight and the messages. And let that be what kind of guides your Saturnian game plan. Putting those parts of yourself into work, like conscious action in some way, is going to empower this new moon in your life. And if you know your rising sign, if you know where Aquarius rules in your life, putting Uranus and Taurus and Saturn and Pisces to work in ways that amplify their high side benefits, you're going to empower this new moon in Aquarius in your life. And empower is one of the top words to describe the high side benefits of Pluto. All right, y'all. So this was quite a meaty reading, and I hope that it was helpful for you out there, and I hope it gives you some helpful guidance and insight and something interesting to reflect on. And thank you so much for your time in being here with me in this way. I super appreciate it. If you want to learn more about me and my work, you can find that information at goddessmodern.com, on Instagram at goddess.modern, Substack, goddessmodern.substack.com. And for people that are interested, for my one-on-one clients that are interested, I bring tarot into my readings, and I also read for events as well. So if you're interested in receiving one of my tarot readings, then I invite you to email me and we can explore that further. In general, I work with women and couples for transformational work and intimacy, and I do in-person sessions and online coaching, and I do small group retreats and events as well. So that's a little bit about me, and I invite you to explore more of my work if you're interested, and I wish you a wonderful Aquarius New Moon coming up. It is going to be so powerful, and it's going to be really helping to set the tone for not only Pluto's full transit through Aquarius, but this is setting the tone for the next 250 years that it's going to take for Pluto to come back to this point in Aquarius. Come back to Aquarius. It won't come back exactly to 9 degrees, but yeah, it's very powerful. By the way, the United States right now is experiencing its Pluto return. So I think that's really fascinating that, and part of how Pluto works, it dissolves, it breaks down everything, all the old, outdated, everything. It's a slow, it tends to be kind of a slow force of unraveling and destruction, and then kind of like leveling the tower, and then a slow process of rebuilding. And, all Pluto's all about right relationship to power. And so it has to deconstruct us of all the patterns that are not in right relationship with power, and then put us through an initiation of power, right relationship to it, and then from there we have to build the foundation and build the tower, and building a foundation takes a long time. So we're in a big journey with all this, and I'm so grateful that I get to be here and to be with you along this journey, and I love people. I love us and I believe in us, and I know that we have what it takes to master this initiation. All right, y'all. Have a good rest of your day, and thank you again for being here.